Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host Pinky, and today we will be talking about Married at First Sight. But before we begin, this review is brought to you by DOSSIER. And in case you didn't know, DOSSIER gives you iconic scents, designer quality without the markups. Now this first scent I have is called Floral Lavender, and it's inspired by YSL Libre Eau de Parfum. Honestly, I feel like the scent is perfectly described by the name. It smells like so light, so beautiful. The base notes are vanilla, amber, and musk. And y'all, I just love the way I feel when I put this on, and it's long lasting. The next scent I have here is Floriental Vanilla, and it's inspired by YSL Black Opium Eau de Parfum. Similarly, it has a floral smell, but it's a tad bit sweeter, but it also packs a punch. And I just know you're going to turn heads if you wear this. Both bottles are 1.7 ounces, and like I said before, very affordable. So make sure you check out DOSSIER. Click that link down in the description box, and don't forget to use my discount code because you'll get a percentage off of your entire order. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So before we jump right into the couples, I have to say this episode I realized that Johnny, Zach, and Ryan have a lot more in common than I thought they did. Okay, when they were having that conversation outside of Jose and Rachel's get together, it really showed me how nitpicky they truly are, and they even admitted it themselves. So this is not me just jumping to conclusions. They're looking for perfection, and they're looking for a spark, and it's like, y'all act like you are the authority on falling in love. Zach, you said you've never been in love. Ryan, you say you wait until it's too late to know if you're in love with someone. And Johnny, you said you've been in love. I don't even know if I believe that. I'm just sitting up here listening to these men talk about, oh, I need a spark. You don't even know what you need to fall in love. Do you even know what love is? Because love is loving someone in spite of their imperfections, not pointing out their imperfections and letting one small imperfection keep you from seeing all the other great things the person may possess. Because guess what? They're looking at you, and I know they could point out so many flaws on you, namely you being so critical. I mean, I guess in Zach's case, yeah, but I just feel like Zach would probably be doing this if he wasn't married to Michaela. I feel like he would be doing this in general because he already admitted that he's like this. And I'm just thinking, like, this is not a romantic comedy. Things are not just going to happen. Oh, I looked up and we just fell in love at first sight. That is not what marriage at first sight is. Y'all are going to have to put in work. It's not going to happen overnight. If the person that you're with is invested and is giving their all, you should be doing the same. Make more of an effort to get to know the person. Try. See if there's things that you do have in common. Look for the things that you do like about the person and stop focusing on the things that you don't. You can't not give it your all and just expect it to just fall in your lap. That's just not how it works. And if you're not willing to do that and you have no real intentions of being married to this person long term, then have some integrity and leave. Leave. If you're not gonna really try, if you're not gonna give it a real effort, then leave. Stop leading these women on. Let it go, because it's aggravating to watch every single week. Now that I've got that rant off my chest, let's get into these couples. Let's start with Brett and Ryan. So y'all were right about him. Y'all were right. Y'all kept saying that he wasn't into her, and it came out this episode that that's exactly how he feels. He doesn't feel the spark. He's not totally into her, but clearly she's into him. Like we already saw from last episode, she thought he had a Baywatch body. Clearly she's attracted to him, and she's feeling that he's not connecting or he's not reciprocating what she's putting out. And we saw this with the game that they played. They played a game of Jenga, and she made a deck, like a thick Uno sized deck of things that she loved about him. Every time he would pull a Jenga block, she would read one to him. And I'm just like, she was doing a little bit too much. It'd be one thing if they were pulling Jenga blocks and they were saying things to each other that they liked about each other. You already wrote it out and everything, and you were able to come up with that many things, and you've only known him for 2 weeks. This would be so sweet if he returned the favor, but the fact that he's not, it was like really cringy, and I just hated it for her. You know, he did say that he doesn't feel any sparks with her, and he usually falls in love quickly, but he does say he doesn't want to build her up just to lead her on. So I will give him that. He's not pretending. He's not trying to lead her on, but he's, you know, just not there yet. But the thing is, are you trying to get there, or are you just waiting for it to happen? Because I feel like you have to put in that effort, like I said earlier. Like, are you actively asking her questions and trying to get to know her, trying to know her past? It just reminded me of when he met with her parents and they asked him, did he have any questions, and he didn't ask not one question. Like, that would have been a great opportunity for you to get to know more about her. But instead, you squandered that opportunity by like, oh, I don't know. Like, it's like you haven't been trying since the beginning. When Brett and Ryan get around the other couples, she's noticing that they're like more affectionate. Even Mirla and Gil, who haven't even kissed each other yet, he has his hand on her knee. Like, they just seem to be more connected than they are. And I feel like that's the moment where she realized, like, I don't know if this man is really into me. She even talked about it with some of the others, and she's ready. She wants this, and she wants to fall and everything. And she feels that he needs to try instead of just expecting love to happen. And Gil told her, why don't you just tell him that? And she's like, well, it's just easier to tell your friends. But he was like, you want to know so you know if you're wasting your time or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, why give your all to this situation if you know that he's not? So Gil be having some good advice. Like I told y'all, Gil messy. He be getting on my nerves sometimes, but he does give good advice. I have to admit, every time he's giving advice to the other people, he tends to be right. So since I've already brought up Gil, let's talk about Mirla and Gil. So at the beginning of the episode, Mirla is hanging out with Rachel, and she shows her that he got her like a rubber ring, and you use that for when you're active, like going to the gym and things like that, so you don't like scratch up your permanent ring. And Rachel thought that was like such a cute romantic gesture, and clearly Mirla doesn't think it's romantic unless it's like a Cartier ring. And I'm just like, girl, you could give him something. You can give him something. Sometimes it's the thought that counts. It's not always the price tag. That's my issue with Mirla. It's not the fact that she wants more for herself, not the fact that she likes nice things. It's like she has a very selfish view when it comes to things like that. If he went out of his way to do something like that for you, that is a nice gesture. You know what I'm saying? You should acknowledge it as such. But we do see later on in this episode that she cooks for him. So I don't think she's completely selfish. She does seem to do things for Gil, and seems to, you know, remember his interests and things like that. It's just when it comes to what she wants is, you know, very limited to expensive things. So then they have the conversation about love. She feels like falling in love is a choice, and I do as well. I agree to a certain degree. I feel like there are certain people that could fall for anyone, but I think for the most part, we as humans, we have our criteria before we allow ourselves to fall in love. She also said that she leads with her head and not her heart. That says a lot about this situation. Like, she is very guarded, clearly, and it takes her a minute to, like, you know, she wants to get to know someone first before she just dives straight in and be kissing all up on people, because honestly, that influences, you know, your feelings. So it kind of gave me a little bit more clarity as to where she was when it comes to this relationship. Gil says that he's not in love, but he's en route to falling in love. Like, the GPS is heading there. He doesn't know how far away he is, but he's heading there. And it's like, okay, and she ain't even kissed this man yet. When she kissed him, he really gonna be head over heels, child. So later on, he offered to give her a foot rub as another romantic gesture. And girl, she was on her phone the whole time, and I'm just like, get off your phone. Get off the phone. Like, I already feel like it's a little bit rude for you to be with your partner and always be on your phone. Like, it's, you know, it's one thing if you're together all the time and you don't have to constantly be into them. You can multitask, but if he's doing something nice like rubbing your feet, you could at least put the phone down and have a conversation with him. Like, I feel like that was a little rude. And then when he was done, she rated his foot rub a 5. I was like, But Gil seems to think he gives great foot rubs. So I don't know where the disconnect is. Maybe she don't like his kind of foot rubs. I wouldn't know, because I don't like for people to touch my feet. No, stay away. That's not for me. I'm going to say no every single time you offer, because I don't like feet. I don't want to touch your feet. I don't want you to touch my feet. I really don't even want to look at feet in general. At the end of the episode, they went to a very nice restaurant, and Mirla only wanted to go because they had Chanel No. 5 drinks. Are they official? Like, and Gil was like, would you like the drink if it was not Chanel No. 5? If it was just called something else, like, would you like it? She would say no. So we know she's obsessed with labels. I don't know why does he go here every single time? Like, he talks about labels more than she does. Like, that doesn't mean y'all can't have a good time there. It's almost like you're label averse. Like, you're going to be against it because it has a label on it. She wants to go to brunch once a week and a date twice a month. Okay, I feel like that's not a crazy out of the question ask. I really didn't understand how that was a lot to him. But he said he'd rather cook than, go to brunch. And it's like, well, cook then. Like, she says she only wants to go once a week, so go to the brunch with her once a week, and you can cook the rest of the week if you like. But have we seen Gil cook yet? While you're demanding at-home meals, are you going to be doing the cooking? That's all I would like to know. If you say yes, fine. Or if it's like we switch it up, fine. But if you just expect me to be cooking every day, we both work. So we're gonna have to work that out. Now, she did say she wants a brunch husband, which would have thrown me off too if I was Gil, because it was almost like, well, that means like you can insert any man here. All you wanted to do was have a husband so you can say you're going to brunch with him. Like, that was very superficial of her. Like, it would make me feel cheap. He said that he just wants consistency, and he really wants to feel wanted. He doesn't want to feel like you could just insert any man here and you will be fine because you have a brunch husband. He wants to feel like you want him in particular. She didn't even reassure him that Gil is the person that she really wants to be married to. So unless they cut that out, it was like, Mirla, the girl, you could at least reassured that man. You know what I'm saying? So let's move on to Jose and Rachel. They had some cute little moments in the beginning with the goat yoga. And y'all, what is the purpose of goat yoga? I just don't get it. Like, having a goat climb all on my back. The babies actually, I'm not a big animal person, as y'all know, but the babies were actually kind of cute. I can't even lie. They were, especially when they were falling asleep. But that was something that Rachel planned, and he actually went along with it. He didn't complain too much. He didn't try to take over, so fine. So then they have the conversation about love. She says she needs more understanding to fall in love, meaning you need to listen, open your ears, and close your mouth. That's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we talk. Okay? I learned that very early in life. It's like he just waits for his turn to speak instead of actually paying attention to what she's saying. And it's not just like he overtalks her. He overtalks everybody. He just talked about shut up. That would get on my last nerve. Okay? Sometimes I just want to chill and I just want it to be peaceful. We ain't got to say nothing, but we here. We just in each other's presence. And if he were to just talk and talk and talk all day and night, that would irritate my whole life. Especially if you're not hearing me. Because now everything I'm saying is going in one ear and out the other, and you just feel like your say is going to be the last say. Oh no. If I don't have any input here, then I'm gone. And so I just feel like Rachel is going to get tired of that if you don't start listening. And then he suggests to her, well, maybe you should say everything twice so I can catch it. No, maybe you should actually listen to her the first time when she says something. She shouldn't have to beat stuff into your head for you to hear her. And then he had the nerve to say, well, I used to listen more before I got married. Kind of like using that as a cop-out. And he immediately said, yeah, nah, it's a cop-out, it's a cop-out. Because apparently he's been using being married to her as an excuse of why he hasn't been going to the gym and things. No. Don't act like when I walked in your life, that's just when everything went down. You decided to make that go down. You decided to, be all into me and let all of your extracurriculars go. That is not my fault. I bet you Rachel's still been going to the gym. He said, what can you do to fall in love? And he was like, everything I already do. What is it that you're already doing? Like, name them. Like, I just couldn't believe he was just sitting up there like, but you know what I do. Like, that's like, I already know you finna fall in love with me because I already do everything that's needed. It's like, oh, he irritates me so bad sometimes. And I don't know, I just feel like she's being a little bit too accommodating to it right now. But it's gonna get to the point where it gets on her nerves. I already know. It has to, because she's commenting on it. So she says that she has been in love before. He said that he's only been in strong like, but then he said he had been in a 4-year relationship. So you're telling me after 4 years of talking to someone, you've only been in strong like? But I believe on Unfiltered, she said that he was in a long distance relationship with someone, and so that's why the feelings never grew stronger. He said that he couldn't see himself falling for her because she had kids, but you knew she had kids when you got with her. So you was playing in her face, basically. You were using her for companionship or something, because you could never see yourself getting married to someone who already has kids, like a ready-made family. You want your own biological children. So why were you even talking to her in the first place, wasting that woman's time? And it just, if I were Rachel, I would definitely see that as a red flag, that he doesn't mind wasting your time. He don't. He, later on in the episode, he's confronting her about cheating and how can I trust you and da 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 da. But how can I trust you when you don't mind wasting a woman's time for 4 years? So since I brought up the cheating, she said that she cheated randomly on her ex-boyfriend on year 2 of their 8-year relationship. So she cheated on the 2nd year, but they ended up staying together for the rest of the 8 years. Mind you, if this is the relationship where she said she lost herself in it and, you know, she just became all about him and, you know, allowed a lot of things she shouldn't have, it's probably because she was trying to make up for that cheating for the next 6 years and he was punishing her. That's just what it sounds like to me. But she said she learned to not put herself in those type of situations. And Jose said if that would have happened with him, he would have not have stuck around. Basically, he was like, how do I know I can trust you if you want to go out or something? She was like, you just gonna have to trust me. And it is what it is. Either you trust her or you don't. Later on in the episode, they said I love you for the first time. She's actually the one who said it first. She said I love you to him and he said it back. I guess it's cute for now. But we'll see how this goes by the next episode because it wasn't looking too promising. Let's move on to Bao and Johnny. From week to week, I don't know where we're going to be with Johnny. Like, either he's completely head over heels for the woman or he can't stand her. Like, I just don't get it. How do your feelings vacillate back and forth this much from day to day, from week to week? Like, what is going on? We'll get to it. So they had their first meal together. Bao cooked for Johnny and it actually looked pretty good. I actually wanted to taste some. So she wanted to show him that she can cook and have him appreciate it, and you know, he said it was good or whatever. She asked him about the doubt he was feeling before in their marriage. Like, he basically before told her that, you know, he was ready to run. He said that he thought it would be smooth sailing in the first part of their marriage and they would like maybe hit a bump later on. It sounds like he has a very romanticized idea of what he thinks marriage or relationship should be. And that's why when he finds one thing he doesn't like, he wants to throw it away because he thinks everything is supposed to be perfect. And that's so unrealistic because neither you nor Bao or any other woman you will find will be perfect. You thought it would be smooth sailings, but sir, you were the one that were the treacherous waters. You brought the storm and the rain. Yeah, Bao contributed, but you... She says that she's in this thing 100% and she feels like he wavers. And he does. It's like either he feels like, oh, I'm all in this, I want to be with you, da 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 da. And the next minute, he doesn't know if he wants to continue. He's ready to run. So I didn't see anything wrong with what she was saying because even he's admitted that out of his own mouth. He really got defensive. Like he got mad. I was just like, oh, Johnny, I know you ain't sitting up here getting your feelings based off of her saying what she got to say. She never once criticized you or got mad or went off on you when you deserved it. You deserved it multiple times for her to just snap, and she had like a very even keel, and she took all of your mess in stride, and you have the nerve to be mad at her when she tells the truth on you? Do you really think you know everything about me? You act like you know everything about her. She's just stating what she knows about you. She says, sometimes I could just tell you're deflated and it feels like you're ready to leave. And he says, well, why don't you ask? And she's like, because you be getting hot-headed. And Johnny, literally, you're demonstrating how you get right now, turning red and everything. And then he claims she's being judgy about him. When you judge every move that she makes, she can't even be happy and giddy in her life. She can't even express herself without you saying it's a turn off. And then he said, if we were dating, this is the point where I would end it. So you have the nerve to get mad at her saying, well, you don't seem like you're always invested. But then you'll say something like that and expect for her to want to stick around. Johnny get on my last nerve, y'all, because I promise I would have flipped that table over on him. I would. Ooh. After everything you done did and I done put up with it, and you had the nerve to say you would end it right here, well, guess what?
Why didn't anyone take up for me, Jamie? Why didn't anybody take up for me then? I'm so sick of this.
I would have pulled a whole Elizabeth and Jamie on him and flipped that table so quick. What you talking about? You'll end it. Because he just does not care about her feelings whatsoever. It's like he was playing tit for tat in that moment. Like he was just trying to hurt her feelings because his little puny feelings got hurt. It's crazy because they have this moment where he's basically saying he would have left her, and Bao is like in her feelings. And the next scene we see with them, they're kissing. They just one of those couples that thrive in toxicity, because I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Sadly, I feel like this is becoming a situation where Bao is putting up with his behavior because she's always had a crush on him and she considers him a prize, and he knows that she will always be there when he returns, so he gets to act any way that he wants to. I hope that I'm wrong, but that's just what it's looking like. And that is toxic. Anyway, he said he's going to stick around until he finds the spark. If I was Bao and you kept playing with me, your clothes would find a spark and be lit up. So then they do the little activity that the experts gave them, and they talk about love. And it comes out that Johnny learned about intimacy through hentai. And I did not know what hentai was. So I paused it right before he explained what it was and looked it up. And I was like, oh, I did not know what I was looking up, y'all. Starts with a P and rhymes with corn. And I'm like, you know what? That's starting to make sense, because I can understand how that can shape your views on women. When they watch that stuff from an early age, it shapes their views on women. They tend to view them as objects that are placed on this earth to please you instead of human beings, where you also have to return the favor, cater to them, and reciprocate in relationships. We're not just here to please you. You know what I'm saying? You must return the favor. And I don't know, they did explain a lot. Them talking about love and drinking, they started having tingly feelings and they went to the bedroom. Later on in the episode, Bao planned him a bar date night, and they had fried chicken, beer, and they played darts with like a dart gun, which looked really fun. Looks like something I would want to do, like shooting a dart with a gun. And that's when they revealed that they had consummated their marriage, and now they're all over each other, lovey-dovey. They both said that those questions really helped rekindle whatever they had in the beginning, and so for the moment they're on again. So then they had the paint and sip to make up for him ghosting her all those years ago. So when they were doing their paintings, Bao wanted the painting to be perfect. She wanted it to align perfectly, because they were going to do like a heart on this side and have the heart connect on the other painting, and so she was being very anal about it. She wanted it to look perfect. And he thought she was doing too much because, it's more about us spending time together and, being into each other than being so into these paintings. So I could see where he was coming from there, but it wasn't that serious. Like, you should be happy that she was into it. She could have came in here like, what is this? I do not feel like doing this. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could really see how he could be mad at that, but she was so into it that she wanted it to be perfect. And this is something that you planned, so you would think that he would be like at least happy that she enjoyed it. He felt like she sucked the romance out of it and always focusing on the negative, but that's you are literally doing the same thing at this very moment. So I don't know, it's like everything that he says Bao does wrong, it's like you are a hypocrite because you tend to do the same thing just in a different way. You suck the fun out of watching our relationship. We were so here for you and Bao in the beginning, but you tend to ruin it every episode. So this is me criticizing you. So finally, let's talk about Michaela and Zach, which another draining couple, but at least they had resolution this episode. So this was their first time seeing each other since the housewarming. He said that he called her the next day, and I guess she was in her feelings because she told him to text her on another number, basically alluding to the fact that she didn't want him to call her anymore. Low key, y'all, I know y'all are not going to agree with me, but I could see how she was in her feelings about him not wanting to stay there that night. Like, you didn't even stay in our household that night, so don't come calling me now trying to fix it. Come home and talk to me about it. That's how I would feel, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, she was a little childish telling him, you know, text me on this number. But honestly, I want to see the messages because they always have a different story when it comes to like relaying things that didn't occur on camera. So I need to see these text messages. I would love to see them. We already know off rip when they sit down with each other, he's super frustrated and she's like kind of being childish because she didn't get her way in this situation. She apologized and he didn't immediately like forgive her and move past it, so she's being a little immature. So he gave this analogy that their marriage is like him trying to read a book and he really wants to read the book, but a bee keeps coming, and when he swats it away, another bee comes and another bee comes, and it's like keeping him from getting to the meat of the story, even though he's like ready to do it. Saw where he was coming from, but it still was throwing me off. I can't even lie. She needs to work on her facial expressions because they come off very standoffish, like very condescending. Your facial expressions would make anybody want to back off. They're prickly. You have a prickly disposition sometimes when he's trying to explain himself, and it would make me not want to keep going either. You know what I'm saying? I would want to give up as well. He calls out her behavior and she claims that she owns it, but she still blames him for causing her reaction. And it's like, girl, no, you can't be accountable for your actions and then blame him for pushing you to that. That is not how that works. Yes, Zach should own his part in what happened, but you owning your part should not be, well, you made me do it. That's not being accountable, because it's not like you just reacted. You overreacted. It did not have to be all of that. You made it way worse than it had to be. And he drives it home once again that they have a fundamental difference with handling conflict, right? Which they do. They do. Clearly, they have two totally different perspectives, and they do handle conflict very different. And at this point, I'm just like, where are the experts? This is a time where they needed another session with Pastor Cal or with one of the other experts to help them settle this dispute, as well as give them tools on how to communicate or get on the same page with communication. Because they communicate differently, they need someone to mediate. Where are they? The experts are non-existent on this show. Like, for real. We go episodes without seeing them. Yeah, we see their little talking heads in between, scenes. But that's literally all we get. We never see them interact. How come an expert couldn't come administer these love questions? What is going on here? Is it because they're filming Unmatchables? Like, why do we never see the experts? What's the point of having them on this show? I thought they were supposed to be here to guide them through this experience. Or is it that y'all just want the drama? So then he asked her, what is he doing wrong? And basically like begging her to tell him, what do I need to do to improve? What do we need to do to move forward? You know what I'm saying? And she basically just said, talk to me. But according to him, he tried to talk to you and it didn't go over well. And he claims to still wants to make this work. So she vows to think before she speaks from now on. Verbalize her feelings. Don't just keep things bottled up and let it explode later. And to make an effort to understand him. And he agreed that he would do the same. So they're trying to start from a new slate. They go on a date. That's when they do their love questions. Both have never been in love. And she feels like she could have been in love. You know, whenever he talks about his past relationships and his exes, he places a lot of blame on his exes. But it's like, can you for once mention where you went wrong or where you made a mistake or where you could have done better? Because I don't know. He always blames everything on the ex and how, I mean, at the very least, you could say that you're not good at picking partners. You know what I'm saying? Like, because clearly if all of your exes are toxic, you chose to be with them. So maybe that's your problem. You choose to be with people that are toxic. But never once do you ever hear Zach ever say, you know, where he was wrong in those past relationships. That's something that stuck out to me. So then he goes on to list what he wants in a woman. He said he wants someone with looks, ambition, someone who's adaptable, someone he can trust, someone who is honesty, loyal, and mature. And I just feel like these were basic things anybody could want in a relationship. Nothing too crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. I feel like they weren't even shallow. Like, these are things that I would like to have in a partner as well. But she acted like it was a lot. And I was like, what, girl? That ain't even much to ask. Like, she thought that was a lot. Yeah, I couldn't see where she was coming from with that. So I think he asked her, do you think you're falling in love? And she said she felt she was falling before, but now she's guarded because of, you know, everything that's happened. He basically said that he has lost interest in her. And, you know, while both of those things are kind of harsh, at least they were being honest with one another. He said that this situation is kind of like putting him in a position where it's like forcing him to try. If you want to be there, be there. But if you don't, leave. Don't waste nobody's time. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to stick around if you really feel like you don't want to be with her. But maybe he doesn't feel that way. Maybe he does really want to try, because he was gung-ho in the beginning. Both of them were. So, you know, maybe it could work. But that date did end up going well. Like, they had a good time together. Later on, they had a cooking date. Neither one of them could cook, so they had like a chef on Zoom that Zach set up for them to learn how to cook together. And she was really heavy-handed with the seasoning. I mean, with that seasoning. So that was another cute moment for them. It looks a little bit hopeful, but you know, none of us really believe that they're gonna work out. I don't think, like, based off the previews, you know what I'm saying? So y'all let me know what you think down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I'd love to hear your opinion, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.